Welcome back to another episode of Dat Nation. Wow. It's all getting so much better. We're post-election cycle. It's David Shumaker. He's back. And it's Susan. And we're gonna introduce both of you in 2 seconds. But firstly, I have just a quick announcement to make. TAFS has asked to reach out to us and said, can we be their official spokesperson? So TAFS, well, we're bringing, that's the transdisciplinary Agora and the Future Discussions organization out of Africa, and they're international, but they're doing great work. And Mr. Holsopple said we can work in collaboration with his Project 222, and that's really exciting as well, because Project 222 is a fantastic organization. So we're going to have those appearing on the screen now a lot more, and you'll see those guys around a lot more, because they're both really good organizations. So that's Dat Nation is getting finally some partner networks. I'm very excited for that. But meanwhile, the action goes on. How is you Las Vegas, right? Vegas.
We are in Las Vegas, Steele. This is the first year for Raadfest to be out here, but certainly not Susan and I's first year. But yeah, back here in Las Vegas, wonderful town, great hotel. Off the strip. It's a resort hotel. Got about 1,000 participants here at Raadfest this year, maybe a little more. So the energy is just absolutely incredible.
I'm so excited. 1,000 people. That's just mind blowing, and I can't be one of them. But you know, thanks for taking the time out to come on Dat Nation and to help me out. Susan, you've got a Kiwi accent. Do you want to confess some sins or what?
I'll confess, yes, I have a New Zealand accent. I now live in Phoenix. I've been here for the last 9 years, and this is my 4th Raadfest. I've been here every one since 2016, and this one is amazing. New location, big hotel. I tell you, in Vegas they do it really big, so it's a massively big hotel.
Fantastic. Yeah, I've heard very good things about the hotel. That's what you want, because we want this to grow, and I mean, hopefully we outgrow whatever this hotel is, and we just keep going, or we take up the whole strip, or we, have the whole city. I don't know. The part of the economy like the Super Bowl or something. So this is really great news, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited that that's what's happening. So let's just go on, Susan. So. We all know who Mr. Shumaker is, because Mr. Shumaker's been on the show before. But what's your association with the USDP, with longevity, with People Unlimited? I mean, have you met Jim Stroll? I mean, he's a great guy. What's your association with this whole movement?
Okay, well, I met Jim Stroll and Bernadine in New Zealand actually in 1990. And I really loved what they had to say about living forever. We could live a long time, and I really resonated with that. So I eventually moved to the United States 9 years ago. And I think over the last few years, now that we've been going to Raadfest, we've now become more scientific based. They're showing us different ways that scientifically that we can live, and there are modalities and things like that. So I now feel that it's possible to live a very long time, whereas before it was more just, yes, that's what I want to do. But now I feel like it's something that is definitely possible.
Yeah, absolutely. This isn't just like some weird fantasy religion cult agenda science weirdos. This is actually built out of fact that. Like me and Mr. Shumaker were making a point of, human beings are kind of like a machine. They're a biological machine, and there are components which we can swap out and replace, and there are elements within, the diet that we have, telomeres. There's processes to health span, to improving our health and improving our lives, and ensuring that we do have better, healthier lives, including, right down to the information that you consume. And the thoughts that you have, and the amount of sleep that you get. There's plenty of processes just in your normal natural life in order to improve your health span, and that's what we really get excited about, and that's what we really want to. That's a short-term focus, but as these miracles of science continue to improve, there are avenues to longevity, super longevity, longevity, escape velocity, hopefully reversing aging, hopefully defeating aging. I mean, these are all within the realm of possibility, and it's really exciting because all we need to do is grasp this moment in time, where we are now. We have to take this energy and focus it. We have the intellectual capacity and theories. We have the technology. We have the infrastructure. We have developed nations which are connected all across the world. We have the transport capacity. We have people like Elon Musk who are out there energizing the world base to get involved with science, to get involved with big thinking, this is the period of time now, and this is why the Transhumanist Party is the most exciting thing on the planet, because
Exactly.
if it is the vehicle, it is the central node that can meld all these third parties together. People Unlimited, H plus, all of them, Life Extension, BioViva over there at Liz Parrish, SENS Foundation with Aubrey de Grey. This is the time now that we can do this and meld these all together, weld them all together, and actually get something positive from humanity for a change. What say you guys? Are in Las Vegas at the epicenter.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Steele. And Raadfest, where we're sitting at right now, is really at the crossroads of all those things that you talked about. Raadfest brings together communities like People Unlimited, which you've mentioned. SENS, we were in a breakfast meeting this morning with SENS Foundation. We have other breakouts during the week with Humanity Plus, Lifeboat.io, things of that nature. So Raadfest becomes the common ground for people of all these different organizations to come together. And while we come at super longevity, anti-aging, maybe from different viewpoints, we all have a common goal, and many of us, including Susan and myself, are members of multiple of these organizations because they all support the kind of things that we want to do. And with Raadfest being a mixture of a science conference where we have good, hard science, I'm not talking snake oil, I'm not talking the promises of 100 years ago, I'm talking real stuff that's presented here, some of it presented here, saved and presented to the public for the first time at Raadfest, which makes that very exciting. But then you also have people like Susan and I, which, we might have backgrounds that help us understand and appreciate this, but we're not the ones in the trenches doing the scientific work, for example. So Raadfest takes and brings these two important communities, I think, together, where you got the hard scientists that are working in their labs, they're doing their job. They were really, really excited, and still are, but they were really, really excited early on doing their research, their development, getting their grants, doing their things. But then they've been maybe disconnected over the years from the folks like us that are the consumer of this product that they would be developing. We've been disconnected from them. Raadfest brings that together. So it is just a major cross-section. It's one of the things that just makes it so delightful.
Yeah.
And to that point, I think that we are also at an intersection in history, which I think you alluded to as well. Every generation before us has died out. At some future generation, that death will either be extremely long out there or functionally it won't matter. It will be so far out in front. I think that we are very close to being at that intersection from the last generation to die and the first generation to live as long as they want. It doesn't get any more exciting than that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And there are problems, and this is the interesting thing that I've been sort of contemplating along this line. I mean, there's sort of, because it sounds really good, everyone living forever and all that, but there are actually complications and problems that go along with that, and it makes everything more enjoyable to actually flip it on its head and say, well, what's the complications and problems that go along with that? I mean, of course there are complications and problems that go along with that, but actually it's exciting to think that possibility is even a conception that can be contemplated. It's just so good. And the USTP is so exciting. Susan, I'll ask you about the USTP in a second. The reason this USTP is so exciting is because, this notion of science. You say in the trenches, David Shumaker, and I agree with that. These are the frontline soldiers against the war against aging disease and the terrorism of a lot of these disorders and things. But the science is hard, cold logic. I mean, it's the scientific method. It's the scientific principle. It's hard and cold. And politics is a whole nother world, which is not hard and cold. It's
exactly.
That's a messy, messy, dirty world, politics. And bringing the two together is something that has never really been done before, never really been attempted before in history. There's elements of, you get like Peter the Great out of Russia, and he went on a tour of Europe, and he saw all the scientific advances, and he brought it back to Russia, and he said, we have to do some of this stuff. But that's not really, that's just a mix of science and policy, whereas what we're talking about is secular values installed into political systems, and that's hard. I mean, that's hard. I mean, that's no easy feat. And Raadfest, especially BioViva has that commercial zing. I love what Liz Parrish is doing at BioViva with that commercial zigzag. And that's really, really exciting stuff when you go to her website and you feel like you're at the McDonald's of gene clinics. I mean, I love that. But, something like what Jim Stroll is doing is he's making it popularized and fun. He's the Walt Disney of the movement, right? In the fact that he's energizing normal people to get excited about things that they hardly even conceptualized before. And he's been doing this since the 1970s, and it took him to this long now, where he's now at the zenith of his career, and he can finally show the world what this movement is capable of. But Susan, we didn't hear from you during the campaign, so I just wanted to quickly ask you, what did you think of the campaign, and what do you think of the outcome of the campaign? What did you of the USTP campaign?
I absolutely love the campaign, and just one thing before I talk more about that, I actually met Zoltan in 2015, and then when he became the first presidential candidate, he had the coffin bus, and he came into People Unlimited at the time as a speaker. And, I'd never heard about the Transhumanist Party before and loved what he said. He did an amazing presentation, and I kind of fell in love with it at that particular time. So then he took off over the US with his coffin bus and stood as a candidate. So then when I got invited to join the Arizona Transhumanist Party, I absolutely jumped in. We'd met Gennady at Raadfest prior to that. The last few Raadfests we'd met Gennady, always had a really nice connection with him, and then I was really excited to join the Arizona Transhumanist Party. Now I've gone on to H Humanity Plus as well, and the campaign, it was exciting. Met Ben, loved him, and towards the end of it, I was getting a bit nervous because I really, really wanted him to win. And so I got nervous thinking, well, what if he doesn't win? What are we going to do next? And then he did win, so I didn't have to deal with that. But I'm absolutely thrilled for him. I've loved David's involvement. He knows more about politics than what I do, especially US politics. And
good point.
Yeah, right. So I've been very excited. It's been a whole new opening for me, and I'm very, very excited for the next year and what Ben and with David's support as well, what they can do together, and everybody else, of course. Yeah, and I'm glad you enjoyed the campaign. I mean, this is the thing. I tried to, on this show, I tried to sort of commercialize and formalize the campaign a little bit, and push people to their limits a little bit, and try to mix up that science policy mechanism and show people how you can play these games. It's not impossible. It's hard. You got to be smart,
but you can do it. It's possible. It's not impossible. And I think what Zoltan did, I think you're completely right. I think that gentleman has put radical life extension on the map. I think the immortality bus, it was a beam. It beamed across the world. He said on this show, he said, he's just sitting and he didn't mean to, but it's a big bus and you get stuck in traffic, and then suddenly millions of people are like, what's this big bus doing holding me up from my Tinder date or going to whatever they're doing. And next minute, like it explodes. And I thought it was just remarkable. What that energy that he invested in that campaign there. And a one man working machine. Fantastic, and it's good to hear. And we reiterate, and I'm going to keep reiterating this like a broken record, but we enjoyed all the candidates. Congratulations to Ben Zion. Fantastic maneuver. He worked very hard for that. The Futurist New Deal podcast was very good. All that. But we loved all the candidates. We thought all the candidates did an extremely good job and sacrificed a lot of time, money, and effort, in order to promote the USTP and promote these ideas of radical life extension, super well-being, super longevity, space colonization, all the things, all the techno-optimist jargon that we use here. And we just want to say thank you to everybody across the whole board on that. And let's keep pushing. There's been other things that have happened, developments since then, but that's okay. That's politics, and that's what these people, we have to sort of start to learn and understand is. If people want to play politics, that's okay. That's what the USTP is here for. It's a politics machine. And if people want to, that's just how politics is, And then there's the other science compartment. Yeah. But we just have to sit back and we have to say we don't want the science. We don't want the politics stuff to influence the science. The science is real. The science is fact, right? So that's the challenge. We don't want this Republican or Democrat nonsense where you jib the figures or you insert your own agenda into the scientific world to complete a policy. We don't want that anymore. That's old school stuff. We're trying to change the world here. Mr. Shumaker, same question. How did you find the end of the? Are you nervous like Susan, or because I know you were a little bit of a Ben Zion fanboy, right?
Well, in all disclosure, yes, at the end I definitely was, and I was on your show and announced that I was officially that at one point. But when Susan and I were first invited by Gennardi to the Arizona Transhumanist Party as it was standing up, we didn't know Ben Zion, we didn't know any of the other people that are associated with the party, and Susan and I just wanted to go. So we went down there and we met and we talked and we found that Ben was involved, in this campaign. Quite honestly, radical life extension is my number one issue. Not my only issue, but definitely my number one issue. And the fact that his campaign slogan was radical life extension is closer than you think gave him a leg up before I even got a chance to meet him. But I was telling somebody today that having him local wasn't necessarily the reason that I chose him and perhaps that Susan chose him as a candidate. It would have been awkward perhaps if we would have wanted to go someplace different. But if that had been the right answer, that would have been the right answer, of course. But with him being local, we got a chance to ask him all kinds of questions. We got a chance to see how he really was in day-to-day life. And that can cut both ways, of course. And actually, it made us feel very comfortable supporting him. And we went from saying, yeah, we're kind of glad that you're running for this, and we're glad that you're in Arizona, to, oh, by the way, can we help out on the campaign? Oh, by the way, what can we go do? And so we're out talking to people. This helps the U.S. Transhumanist Party because we're out trying to register people to sign up for the U.S. Transhumanist Party, and then if they're in our state, we want them to become part of the Arizona Party as well. Gives us an opportunity to go out and keep telling our story. So I've been talking with Gennardi for years. I love the U.S. Transhumanist Party in principle. I had voted on, I've been a member for a while, and so I've been voting on the party planks and the platform. But now I'm back out really reading it, so I really understand it. So when somebody tells me something, I'm not giving them my opinion, I'm giving them what I understand the opinion to be based on what's written in the documents of the U.S. Transhumanist Party. And that actually even more endeared me to that, because some of the things that you were saying about playing politics, but not playing the left versus right politics, I can see that written all throughout their documents. From the ranked voting system, not only for selecting their presidential candidate, but that's how we voted on individual party planks. So we could have variation in the wording that was done 3, 4, 5 different ways and choose the wording in the order of preference that I like the best. I've done a little bit with some of the other political parties, and I never saw anything like that. So there was no deals cut. It was a matter of people putting that out there and then everybody voting their conscience. So, yeah, that was really tremendous. And then to your question about how the campaign went, once we started rolling up our sleeves and committing ourselves, that was actually, I'd never been at that level of involvement before. I don't know if Susan had or not.
No.
But the point is now it's like you've got a new MLM business or something. You're out talking to everybody about the U.S. Transhumanist Party and what the futurist New Deal is all about, and explaining it. And every time I tell the story, I understand it better. Hopefully other people understand it better. I think it made me stronger. At the end, though, I was ready for it to be over. I was about out of gas.
Yeah.
What about you, Susan?
Oh, by the time like the Monday night came when the voting closed, I thought it was going to be like a whole week before we heard the results. And I didn't think we'd hear about it until the Sunday of Raadfest when they would announce it. And then we found out the results the next night. And it was like, oh, thank goodness. I couldn't really wait any longer. Like, I was so nervous. And I thought, do I have to live through this nervousness for the rest of the week and through all of Raadfest until the very last day? And I was so relieved that they told us on the Tuesday night. My nerves were about shattered by that point. So.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I really appreciate that.
I want to acknowledge Detonation and what you did through this whole thing, because I have a half an hour drive to work and a half an hour drive home from work every day. So Detonation is on, usually with you, with one of the candidates or some panel, educating myself, because I wanted to know really what the other candidates were like. And I really came away with an appreciation. I see Project 222 on here, and that's a project I have great appreciation for, and was very glad that was put forward. And that's not the only one, but that's the one that comes to mind at the moment.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, well, I've been talking to Gennady for a long time, and Gennady's the hero, well, my hero personally, and about this. And I watched the first debate, and I was kind of happy I didn't jump in at that point, because I've been thinking about when should I start supporting the Ustp, when should I start doing all this sort of stuff. And I watched the first debate, and I won't comment too heavily, but it was pretty average. Poor Mr. Holstoppel, for example, he couldn't even connect his Skype or whatever they were using in order to get into the debate. I mean, it was and then half of it was cut out, and I'm like, I can't do this. I got to help these guys out. So, and then I realized, like the three candidates. Well, I thought, oh well, I'll just interview all of them and try and get that across. And then when it exploded to 9, I just thought, oh, just copy and paste that formula. There's because who are these people? I mean, who are these people? Why do these people have such great ideas? I mean, I want to know more about them. I'm sure other people want to know more about them. These people have really, really interesting ideas, and it just sort of worked out from there. And it was great. It was great fun. And now I want to continue it, because I've got the bug, like you said. You never done it before, but suddenly you can't shut up about it, and it's kind of like it's the bug, right? And that's what I like, when you really know you're onto something good. It's like we're all passing around gold nuggets to each other or whatever, and it's like you just get the bug, you get the feel, and that's it. Like and that's why it's so exciting, and I think that's why it's easy to do, and I think that's why the community responded, and that's why people are actively investing their time, because it's fun, it's easy to do, it's constructive, it's entertaining, it's intellectual, It's complicated. It's heartwarming at the end of the day, and like I said, it's constructive. So it's just an all-round good way to spend your time and energy. And you never left feeling flat. You're never left feeling flat. You're always left. Wow, I achieved even more today than I thought I would achieve. And it just keeps going. And now you're in Raadfest. So my next question, I guess my final question, because I want to let you go back to the festivities, or I want to let you crash to sleep so you can wake up, because I know you got a full day. I don't want to hold you here too long, hanging out at Detonation, but. What's your plans for the rest of what have you got coming up at Raadfest there? What else is coming down the pipeline? How's Ben going? I did an interview with him just before. How's he going? Is he acting like a candidate-elect, or is he snoozing off in his room, drinking and in his undies or something? Like,
No,
Go, Susan.
well, actually, I think this evening he's managed to get to the speakers party, because I saw quite a few people. We were going to go, but decided not to. And he was heading off to the speakers party. So I would imagine he's having a wonderful time. And I think one of his highlights is that he finally got to meet the people who he interviewed on his podcast. Jose Cordero, Charlie Cam, who else did he speak to? Oh, Liz Parrish. So he's got to meet, and Rudy Hoffman. He's got to meet all of those people. And I was so pleased because he travelled with us. We went from Phoenix. We actually had 4 people in the car. And he's just an absolute delight. Like, he and David get on so well together. They sit up in the front seat and they're just talking all the way through. Driving over here, Ben was on the phone. He was Skyping. He was talking to someone in Amsterdam. Like, he's on the go all the time. So he's just had a really great time here, meeting people. And of course, he's the candidate now. So I'm very excited for him.
And to add on to that, I'd say, to answer your question, I think he now has taken on fully this persona of I am a candidate for the president of the United States. He's looking the part, he's talking the part. He's always been the part in my estimation, or I wouldn't have been behind him, but it's really good to see that come forward.
Yes.
So not sloughing off in his room.
No, I don't think anybody.
He's put the work in, and maybe he could deserve a rest, but he's not taking a rest. As Susan said, he was fully engaged all the way over here, using that time quite wisely, and has been using that time quite wisely here. I think the USTP is very well off to have him as the standard bearer going forth in this political season.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the USTP, at the end of the day, they voted, and it was a free and fair election, and it was quite an overwhelming victory, I would say, in favor, and it's because he has the energy and the enthusiasm, and he really cares about these issues. I mean, his eyes light up concerning these, and he can do it. I think it's in very safe hands for now. I mean, that doesn't mean I'm not speaking in the future, but for now, we've just come out of an election. It's all fresh off. So this is the rhetoric for now. So yeah, I totally agree. And he's not going to say anything stupid behind the scenes. It's not going to happen. Not going to be any leaks or anything. So it's going to be good. So that's really exciting, and I'm excited. So anyway, well, what's the future? Just what's coming up on the Raadfest agenda over there, Susan or David? What are you guys looking forward to? Any speakers are coming up? Obviously, the candidate.
Before Susan jumps in, she's got something she wants to share with you. But I just wanted to mention that, like I said, other organizations that are subgroups of the whole Raadfest experience are here. So we met with SENS today, and tomorrow we're meeting with Humanity Plus in a breakout. We're meeting with Lifeboat.io in a breakout. We're meeting with the U.S. Transhumanist Party on Sunday morning with a breakout. And then there's other ones that are going on, because Raadfest is really a big umbrella, big tent operation for everybody that's interested in what really we're all interested in. But there's some new and exciting and dynamic things here. In the past, we've always had the main stage with the speakers and the entertainment. We've had a smaller stage for product demos, and then there's been a vendors area they call Rad City. But this year they've added something called Rad Clinic, and you can actually sign up for trials, for sponsored programs and so forth. And I think that's what Susan wanted to talk about.
Yeah, well, last year, Bill Falloon, who's from Life Extension Foundation, he gave us, I think it was like the 10 steps to age reversal, and he gave us this booklet, and probably most of us had a quick flick through and didn't really do a lot about it. But this time he's got what's called Vitality in Aging, VIA, longitudinal, I think I said that right, study protocol. And it's a 75-page document, and it's a trial, and we can sign up for it. And with that, we can have blood tests, we can get biomarkers taken, and we can be under this trial for the next year. I think it's actually going to be longer than a year, but we sign up first of all for the first year. So this is really putting all the things that Bill Falloon had talked about actually into something constructive that we can do for those who are interested. So we're going to sign up. We've got to wade through 75 pages tonight as best we can, and initial in a few places, and then just see what we're going to be doing about it tomorrow.
And for anyone that might not know who Bill Falloon is, he is the director or the founder of Life Extension Foundation. And Life Extension Foundation and People Unlimited are the two major sponsors to the coalition, which is the producer of Raadfest. So we're talking about some pretty heavy-duty resources here.
Well, I know last year in the elevator, I met a woman who has been taking Life Extension products for a long time, and she actually came over from Australia. She lived in Cairns, and I didn't get her name or follow up, but she came all the way over from Australia to Raadfest because she'd been a client or customer of Life Extension Foundation. She came to Raadfest, so I thought that was very impressive.
So Raadfest is not just about inspiration. Raadfest is not even just about science. Raadfest is about, if you want it, you've got to do the work. But jump in, you can be a part of it, you can make actionable changes in your life if this is really where you want to go. And we do.
Yeah, totally. And I hope I can get out there next year. That sounds really, really good. I mean, it's the nexus, it's the central nexus for all this activity, and including the Ustp. And so that's really good. And hopefully we can get Project 222 to get its presence in there, and maybe TAF as well.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, what I love about Raadfest is that we've got to know people like in the steering committee and the Coalition for Radical Life Extension, which is put on Raadfest. We've got to know a lot of the members of the steering committee and the board, and so now every year we come, we get to catch up all the same people, and it's very exciting.
Fantastic.
Puts a lot of energy into us.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're going to do this interview, then you're going to wade through 75 pages of legal notes. Good luck. I'm glad it's you doing it, not me. but yeah, no, in America is. I agree with you, Susan. It's a good idea to at least have I'm sure you're living there, or have a foot in the door of the United States, because it is where a lot of this innovation, San Francisco, etc. It's all where the innovation is happening, and if you want to be in that community, you have to be somewhere in the northern hemisphere at least. So that's fantastic. All right, well, I'll let you guys go and head off and complete the processes that you need to do. But I don't want to take up too much of your time, because I know you're really busy, and I want you to enjoy more, so that we have more stories to talk about when we all get back to normal life. Back to your 30-minute drive, Mr. Shumaker. But yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's I'm really glad to hear it's going well, and keep communicating with all these people. They're all doing their best in a difficult circumstances, but we've come out the other side of the election. There's a strong representative, and we have to convert the energy that we have right now into very positive change very fast. Before we lose traction, and hopefully we just in normal life. But so we got to use these opportunities to the best we can, and then when it slows down a bit, then we generate new ideas for better opportunities in the coming future. And Mr. Holsople's Project 222 and TAF's getting involved might be a very simple thing we could achieve for next time, for example. And that's only one thing I can think of at this very point in time, but that's very small. So thank you very much, Susan and David, for coming on, for giving us a highlight from Gambling City. Don't gamble with your life, though. Let's just extend that and extend the health and wealth of that life, and that would be really good. And keep doing what you're doing. It's fantastic. Thanks for coming on another episode of Detonation.
Thank you.
All right, that's it. All more coming to you all this way, all this week. That's straight live from you from Las Vegas.